Cheetos are a snack known the world over for being dangerously cheesy, but there might be something you don't know about them. Frito-Lay's North America has decided to release an array of recipes involving Cheetos and products invoking its name. Some of these pretty good, some of them less good. I'm going to be checking out 3 of them today and letting you know how I feel about them. First, we have an example of the latter. Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheetos, a leech suckling off the Flamin' Hot Cheetos name. This is ostensibly a cheesy macaroni product comparable to Kraft's Dinner, but we'll see how well that holds up. Much like its contemporaries, it contains a box with some noodles and a dry mix, which when combined with a couple of common ingredients produces the final product. In the case of Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheetos, these aren't actually elbow noodles like you'd expect, but spiral cut rotini, which brings into question half of the name. Additionally, you can find a bright red powder in a difficult to open packet. This is the Flamin' Hot Cheetos flavor that we'll be using later in the recipe. Following the instructions on the box, I assemble the ingredients needed for this recipe, including what's contained within the box, a 1/4 cup of milk, and 2 tablespoons of margarine or butter. With my mise en place, I fill a saucepan with at least 6 cups of water, bring it to a boil, and then add the noodles. Once those noodles are added, go ahead and set a timer for 7 minutes and stir occasionally to prevent it from sticking to the pot. After those 7 minutes are up, go ahead and strain those noodles with a colander or a strainer. Be sure not to rinse them. The pasta water cleaning the noodles will help with the sauce. Once that's done, go ahead and add the butter and the noodles back to the pan and stir until that butter is melted. Then you can add the mix and your 1/4 cup of milk. Stir that until the mix is fully mixed in, and you're good. That's Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheetos, baby. So I had some burning questions. I had some flamin' hot questions. Does it taste like mac and cheese? Does it taste like Flamin' Hot Cheetos? And does it taste good? So, for the first question, you can tell there's cheese in there, I guess. The Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheetos definitely taste kind of like mac and cheese, but the texture you get from the rotini is different and the cheese is hard to spot. That being said, for the next question, yes, it absolutely tastes like Flamin' Hot Cheetos. If you didn't tell me what it was, I think I'd still be able to pick out that I was eating mac and cheese flavored like Flamin' Hot Cheetos. That being said, for the last point, it tastes fine, it's okay. I went ahead and finished the pack I bought. I bought a 6-pack of these at a discount store. I ate the rest of those, but I'm not gonna go out and buy Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheetos again. That being said, hopefully our next recipe brings some more delicious results. Okay, so I know this is called the Mountain Dew Mule, but I promise it is a Cheetos recipe. Hailing from Cheetos.com, which lets you know it's a Cheetos recipe, promise. This drink is crafted from a shot of vodka, an ounce of fresh lime juice, a 1/2 ounce of Cheetos syrup, which we'll get to in a second, an ounce of ginger beer of your choice, and 2 ounces of Mountain Dew. Optionally, you can also use a lime as a garnish. That being said, I bought limes as garnish and then immediately crushed them before I recorded the video, so no garnish on mine. Additionally, you'll probably want a copper mug to serve this in. I did not have a copper mug. Some may say it's quintessential to the experience of a Moscow Mule. I say I'm sure it's just as fine without. But if you want something really authentic, go ahead and get a copper mug. The website lists this recipe a bit confusingly. The recipe lists Cheetos syrup in addition to simple syrup, and it lists all the ingredients you'll need to make the full batch of simple syrup, as well as the amount of simple syrup that you'll need to make the drink. What you actually need, is a 1/2 ounce of Cheetos syrup. You can make this Cheetos syrup with a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and 6 Cheetos Puffs, just regular Cheetos Puffs, not Flamin' Hot this time. Per the recipe on this page, you literally just heat the water, add in the sugar, add in the Cheetos, and then strain. We also tried making it like you would make a normal syrup, like an infused syrup, where you boil water, add the sugar to the boiling water and stir, and then we added the Cheetos there and then mixed them in until they dissolved. Just in case we got different results, both of these turned out very similarly. So, once you've got the Cheetos syrup made to make this concoction, just combine that syrup the vodka, the lime, the ginger beer, and the Mountain Dew. Stir and then serve. Recommendation is to serve over ice, again in a copper mug. I will be using a glass and a stainless steel mug for this one. I made 2 versions with the 2 different syrups, but you are free to use a Moscow Mule mug at home. I'm sure you want to know how they taste. They're fine. Honestly, I don't think the Cheetos syrup adds much. What it does do is make the whole thing smell like Cheetos. What it doesn't do is change the way it tastes basically at all. Most of the flavor you're getting from this is actually from the Mountain Dew, believe it or not, with a little bit of the ginger beer kind of tailing in. What I would do differently, nix the Cheetos. You don't need the Cheetos in there at all, and maybe have the Mountain Dew. That makes a much more palatable, much less sweet, and much less stinky drink. All things considered, probably a thumbs down on this one from me. So, last, but hopefully not least, we have... I'll admit, I was really excited for these. Hot cheese is one of my favorite things, and combining it with one of my other favorite things, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, sounded like a match made in heaven. This is another officially endorsed recipe made by the regents who lord over the Cheetos website. They prescribe that you use 2 quarts of oil, 12 pre-packaged things of string cheese, 4 eggs, and 2 cups of all-purpose flour, as well as an 8.5 ounce bag of crunchy Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Additionally, the spooky original recipe asks for sliced blanched almonds to use as creepy fingernails, as well as a half of a cup of ranch or marinara for dipping. I will not be using the almonds for this recipe, since I recorded this in November and it is currently January. Thankfully, the instructions start with unwrapping your mozzarella sticks, which is great because I was fully ready to commit to the bit and throw plastic into my fryer. Once they're all unwrapped, go ahead and throw them on a plate, tint them with plastic wrap, and throw them in the freezer for at least an hour. This is so they won't melt too early when you're going to fry them later. Next, go ahead and throw your Flamin' Hot Cheetos into a food processor until they form a coarse dust. Set this aside for later. You'll also want to go ahead and set up a fryer or set up a saucepan as a fry station and get this up to temperature. While your fryer heats up, go ahead and set up your dredge station. You'll want to beat the 4 eggs into a bowl, set up a second bowl next to that one with flour, and go ahead and put your bowl of crushed Cheetos to the right of the eggs. Here's where I'm going to differ from the recipe a bit. What I did is follow the recipe exactly as instructed. Dredge once in flour, once in eggs, and then once in Cheetos. What you should do is dredge once in flour, once in eggs, again in flour, again in eggs, and then once into Cheetos. What this will do is produce a better batter as well as helping your Cheetos to stick on better. In the end, you'll end up with a better browned, more flavorful mozzarella stick. This will also result in a more consistent Cheetos crust. Once fully encrusted, go ahead and stick your now battered cheese directly into the fryer, making sure it doesn't stick to the bottom or sides. You can use either chopsticks or tongs to ensure that nothing sticks. Wait a moment, and then once they float to the top, remove them onto a paper towel lined plate or a drying rack. Repeat with the remainder of all your mozzarella sticks until you've finished all of them. Let them cool for a few minutes before you dig in. Once they are cool, I'd recommend digging in with some marinara sauce, though the recipe also recommends ranch. Honestly, whichever you prefer. And finally, we find one that I actually like. This is actually a win from Cheetos.com. These are good mozzarella sticks, and the Flamin' Hot Cheetos crust really sets them apart from the garden variety. Honestly, I could do with a bit more Flamin' Hot Cheetos flavor. Whenever you're frying, a little bit of the flavor does leave, but they still land north of regular mozzarella sticks, so that's a win from me. While these aren't perfect, they earn a thumbs up. And that's all the recipes I had for today. Unfortunately, Cheetos only really got one win, but that's enough. That means that maybe some of these other recipes are worth checking out too, and I might come back to them later. If you have any Cheetos related recipes, personal or otherwise, that you'd like me to try, feel free to leave them down in the comments, shoot me a message on Twitter, ask me on Tumblr, send me a Discord message. I don't know, email? I have an email? You can email me? You can make a YouTube video and send it to me? I don't know. But however you want to reach out, seriously, I really enjoy doing this. And even though it took me 3 months, I would love to do it again. Thank you to everybody who stuck around this much in the video. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed and followed on all whatever platforms, I don't care. Feel free to hit that subscribe button at risk of sounding a bit gauche. And have a great day. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. Wait, hold on. Which way am I pointing? There should be one there, and then a subscribe button over here, I think? No, wait, no.